What in the White Lantern ring crap is this, though?
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What is up, everybody? I'm Matthew.
Oh, hey.
Welcome back to another episode. It's been a while since we've talked about the galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, since that 10 out of 10 movie in May.
You mean the TV show that was a movie?
Yeah, the theatrical TV movie.
No, that's one. But yeah, so recently, the first, hopefully of future, we'll see more of, which is that Star Wars Visions, one of the one-off episodes, which we've now gotten technically second episodes for a few of now,
Yeah.
via the second and third seasons, got a full show.
Kind of crazy.
8 episodes, all about 25 minutes-ish.
Yeah, I'd say, about 25 minutes is the average. I think the final episode's like 33 minutes, and then there's a couple episodes that are like 23.
They're all like, it has the classic Star Wars
10-minute time frame.
Yeah, well, it's like the end credits are lengthy.
Yeah.
So all the episodes are like almost 30 minutes, but generally you're probably around that 25 on average. But yeah, so it's called The Ninth Jedi, 8 episodes. It's by Studio IG, which we're familiar with from our if you watch the podcast, then you know that we cover a lot of anime, and
What?
IG's a pretty sizable studio, so they actually do a lot of anime that we've watched or talked about on our preview shows. Shocker, but it's Star Wars, so it's sci-fi.
What?
Don't feel like I really need to.
No, the genre doesn't really matter.
It has a My Anime score. For those who are unaware, My Anime is I guess the best thing would be like a letterbox for anime.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it.
Way of keeping track of anime you've watched, but they're very specific of what gets into the My Anime list, and obviously this counts because it's by a Japanese studio, made in Japan, animation. So it actually cracked MAL. It's a 7.08 MAL score. IMDb score is 7.0 at the moment.
Yeah.
I didn't really put a synopsis. I think we'll generally get into kind of the story.
Yeah.
But the one surprising thing about this was it wasn't generally a good versus evil. It had a lot more gray to it, or silver, than your typical. This is a Sith. This is like the Jedi. There's a little bit more nuanced in this one.
Agreed.
But there was still kind of like a good versus bad.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
What were your initial thoughts then, Matt, of going into it?
I'm always excited to see a Star Wars project, especially Star Wars anime. It's like two of my favorite things putting together. And like Star Wars Visions, like all 3 seasons are so phenomenal and well done in their own ways.
Well, one, it's nice to see not your regular
scheduled broadcast of Star Wars.
Well, it's not just straight up Disney.
Yep.
Or we get a lot of views from different.
It's not just Skywalker Saga.
We've had animation studios from all over the world take on their own Star Wars project, essentially, and we got to see just what people are coming up with.
Exactly.
Which is definitely very fun. And it was cool to you can also just tell, like, this was not taking place in the main continuity.
No, gosh,
this is like its own timeline, its own universe.
Kind of nice in a way. I think we are so brainwashed to the Skywalker Saga.
But we could have past and present, but this one was not following a lot of rules we kind of thought we knew.
Exactly. This is like, hey, the Jedi Order still happened, but that's that.
That's that.
And a bunch of them died, and Sith are around-ish. So, yeah. But I love a good story that isn't forced to be put in the classic Skywalker Saga, like trope, timeline, etc. I think the voice acting for the main character was okay, but some of the other characters there, I mean, we got Simu Liu, like Shang-Chi voicing the dad, which is great.
I'm pretty sure we had the same voice actor who does Frankie.
I believe so.
He was one of the Jedi without a master.
Yeah.
He was like I don't know what race he was, but he was not a human.
Yes. But there were some solid moments of various emotions throughout the entire show. Really opens the gates of what Star Wars can do in the animated front. The show overall took me like a couple episodes to really get like hooked into the world. But by like episode 4, I was really enjoying it. I think there was some solid world building. But I think it's a slow start. I will say that I had to kind of like skim through the first 2 episodes, I had to go back to the individual Ninth Jedi episodes to kind of just refresh my memory a little bit. Like I knew the character design, I knew the characters, but I was like, I should probably refresh myself a little bit.
I kind of actually didn't need the refresher. Once I was kind of like, what is this again? And then once the episode started, I was like, oh, it's this
person.
one.
Yeah. I am curious. I don't think Disney Plus will do this, but it'd be kind of interesting to add those 2 episodes into this, so it's like a 10 episode season.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt to just have them right at the start.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like, oh, it's episode 4 in season 1 and episode 2 in season 3, and then you can watch this entire show.
Yeah, that's fair.
What was your initial thoughts?
So at first, obviously going in, forgot what the show was. When it comes to a lot of the Star Wars projects, it's just in and out. But like as I mentioned, once I watched it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Honestly, the dead giveaway was the CGI ships. It just stuck with me.
Yep.
But those were my first thoughts. Was wow, these are some ugly ass CGI ships. But overall, the art style is good. The animation is well done. My thoughts were that the MC voice actor was not so good.
I said okay.
I thought they were just annoying.
Yeah.
Like in hindsight, like they are just a kid. So it kind of gives that the Anakin. Are they supposed to be whiny? If that's how the director and stuff wanted them to be, then
sure.
Then sure. Okay, then it was good. It was good. I found it just to be a little bit on the annoying side. The big bad design was good. Loved the design. Kind of had that Darth Vader inspired helmet, but it was a samurai helmet.
Yeah.
Which was kind of awesome. And then something different wasn't in the main continuity. The stories that we're used to, characters mentioned that we're not used to, right? Like, I feel like so often, even when they're like, okay, it's not the Skywalker saga, but then there's a mention of someone from the Skywalker saga in some way, shape, or form. And this is like, nope, not even mentioning it.
Doesn't even matter.
So yeah, I was definitely excited going in. It didn't really take me as many episodes. I would say right after the first episode, when everything was starting to click, I'm like, okay, this is where we're at. I was like, okay, I'm down, especially with how clean the animation is.
Yeah.
The fighting was great, so I was ready.
Yeah, the fighting choreography was definitely pretty darn good.
Yeah, we'll get into it later, but I think generally Star Wars,
they know what they're doing when it comes to the fight choreography.
Well, and I just think it's one of those titles that I think just does better with animation. Like it's just not easier because animation is a lot of work, but easier
for more
make
complex ideas
to make it look cool.
Yeah. Like I think the Skeleton Crew was great as a live action show. But we didn't have Jedi, like we didn't have lightsabers.
Yeah, once you have combat, like a lot of
then it becomes
fights,
tricky.
Then I think animation just shows off fighting like in a really cool way, and in a way that isn't always realistic to show,
definitely.
Especially with live action. I even think to like the Clone Wars, like some of the crazy stuff that's happening with the choreography. You're like, you could have cool choreography. We've seen cool choreography in live action. It can be done. It's a lot of work for the actors, and it's a lot of work because they have to bring in a team to help choreograph and train them. But also, they just can't do certain things. Yeah. That you could make an animated character do. Yeah. What did you think of the plot?
I think overall it's a pretty solid story. When you're following a girl who is the Ninth Jedi,
makes sense
because obviously the show's called the Ninth Jedi. But it's kind of interesting because I didn't expect there was some subtle twists throughout the show which I really enjoyed. So like the bad guy being one of his old apprentices, kind of
not really
inspired by.
It was at the Jedi temple of that. Yeah.
That was a big twist. I think in episode 5. There's like 2 scenes that really stuck with me. One, when she's on like the weird alien duck-looking people planet, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make him my apprentice," and then he like platypusy duck-looking things.
I don't know, that's what came to me when I was.
But the scene particular when she like wants to try and train him, and then he like picks up the lightsaber and it's just not turning on, and he's just like, "I'm gonna save my people." Just kidding, I can't. Like that one was sad, and then that's like from that scene to the rest of the episode of her like just losing it and going on the ship, and then she comes back, she's like, "I saved you guys, everyone's dead," and then everyone just like stares at her red lightsaber and just starts freaking out.
It seems like everyone knows who the Sith is too.
Yeah.
So they know like red
Red is
lightsaber bad.
But I think that was a subtle plot twist where I was like, oh, I
was not expecting her to have the reds. I was expecting
Yeah.
someone to bleed a crystal, bleed a crystal. I
Yeah.
don't even know if that's what's really occurring in this timeline because
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get into some of the saber or kyber crystal stuff, but like it was I was expecting someone to transition into a red saber. As we'll cover, there was a lot of color changing.
Yeah, the Technicolored lightsaber. Yeah, I think overall the plot was interesting because now we're dealing with the Kyber crystal cannon is kind of like the
You always gotta have a
big
big
thing.
planet destroying laser.
Of course.
It can't be Star Wars without one of those.
Exactly. We've never seen that before in Star Wars. But yeah, you're following basically a group that is trying to take down a bad guy who's created this Kyber crystal cannon, and then the main character's dad is MIA, so they gotta go and try and find them.
Well, the bad guy takes the dad because he's a saber maker or saber crafter or something.
Yeah.
So and obviously
Knows Kyber crystals specifically.
and this big bad looks up to him because he views him as a master because
Yes.
he saw an event and that really resonated with him and his beliefs. So
He's like, yo.
he kind of abducts him because he's like, oh, he knows kyber crystals and he's my master.
Master in quotations.
So yeah, that's kind of where the story kind of really begins in the first episodes where we have our main character, what's her name? Kara,
Kara, I think, yeah.
She basically is trying to get her dad back and starts learning that her dad was a Jedi, learns what the Jedi are, starts, all the classic things, learning about the Force and how you can't let your emotions get the best of you, but her emotions do get the best of her at times. We have a classic master passing away.
Yeah, classic, R.I.P. Juro.
There were definitely some Star Wars
cliches, to say the least.
Definitely were some classic Star Wars cliches.
Yeah.
Obviously, the big laser cannon that destroys planets. We had a master passing away.
You had
and
a temptation.
hot-headed.
Hot-headed MC, which then taps into the dark side of the Force by accident, but then has a redemption arc and saves the day with their rag team, 2 droids and
Everyone
a
lives
pilot,
happily ever after.
and some weird, slightly furry creature.
I think we were only missing like the medal ceremony of being heroes.
Yeah, but it's okay because
Star Wars always needs a good medal ceremony at the end.
We did get the ceremony at the end, though, technically.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Which I will say, I think that was fun too because there's a subtle, like, not Easter egg, but a fun thing that they did at the end where obviously they all become Jedis at the end. They've recreated the Jedi Council.
Their Jedi Council, yeah.
And there's 9 seats there. And then the final clip we see is the dad giving the lightsaber to the bad guy. So then the bad guy is now the 9th Jedi at the table. So it's a fun little, like, narrative
I
thing.
felt like we didn't get a lot. Like, the ending for me was kind of like, oh, does it feel like you're forgiving them too quickly?
Yeah.
And, like, we see no
redemption.
real redemption for the villain. But, yeah it is cool. Animation, character designs.
I mean, you can never mess up character designs in Star Wars unless you're just doing, like, a human planet. Like, that's the only way you can kind of mess it up. Otherwise...
Well, yeah, just too basic, I guess.
Exactly.
Right?
But otherwise, we saw tons of different alien races, which was a lot of fun. We got to visit cool planets. All the characters, even the droids, were all so unique. The bad guy looked dope.
Were definitely very different.
Yeah. It gave me Robots vibe, like the animated movie. Like,
yeah, where they're just really out there, some of them. The floating... I guess, like, you're so used to a lot of, like, the ship-level droids being like, oh, I have to, like, wheel.
Yeah, medical droid or, like, the classic R2 droids.
But these ones were, like, they were, like, just straight floating.
Yeah, little robot looking.
Yeah, overall animation was fantastic. As I mentioned, I feel like Star Wars, as far as, like, it's, in my opinion, best medium is actually, like, animation and video games.
Yeah.
And I think that's just because if you're doing something that has lightsaber combat and a lot more Jedi focused, then it's just so easy to show really cool looking events. Obviously, that's not going to be everyone's going to agree with that, but I think it just works so well. Every ship being CGI, bit
Maybe
unfortunate.
Not the best.
Unfortunate, but you get used to it because it's not whatever CGI studio they're using, or like all of it was very consistent
Yeah.
So it did all fit in. It's not like it was big ugly, then some wasn't as ugly, or some were hand drawn. It was at least consistent, so it makes it easy to get used to. Like you said, character designs were generally pretty good. I think the only thing negative for me for character designs is, I don't know if you noticed, but a couple of the characters, there was like a real lack of emotion with their eyes. And like the one kid, I can't remember his name.
Ethan or whatever.
Yeah, his eyes were just permanently like wide open. I don't know what choice was going on there. It looked really whack.
Trying to access the Renegon.
Yeah, dude was cracked out or something. I don't know what was going on there. Obviously Nawan, the villain, he was quite an edgy lad.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, had like the white hair with like the emotionless eyes, and then
I can't be bothered.
yeah, and then the cool samurai helmet, Vader helmet was definitely
pretty dope.
That was the chef kiss for sure.
Yeah. We also got the cliche of someone getting like mechanically with a new arm or a ligament kind of thing like that.
Yeah, we almost had like a General Grievous like.
Yeah, it was
guy.
like General Grievous meets Darth Vader-esque, which was kind of fun too, actually.
But yeah, we had different races, occupations, and honestly, this new Jedi Council is made up of quite the ragtag group.
Yes.
Also, one note of interesting for as far as like we learn in classic Star Wars that the Jedi take kids, right? Like generally, it's like very like babies or young kids that are force sensitive are taken to the Jedi Temple, trained, and that's because we don't want them to have attachments with their family. Hence, why like the Anakin thing was such a big deal at the time, and obviously that caused problems because with his mom and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But this one, we had kids that are like, oh, I was always looking like I always looked up to the Jedi and wanted to be a Jedi, which is kind of like a weird.
But I guess if you don't know the culture of the Jedi and you're just like on the outer rim and you're like, I want to be force sensitive, I want to be just like the Jedi, but
everyone kind of knew who the Jedi were and the Sith were.
Yeah,
in a way, right?
But you knew like who the Jedi Council was, or like the Sith Lords kind of thing, but you don't know like the grittiness of how to become one.
But the person who said it is one of the 9 Jedi.
That is true too.
Who obviously knows the Jedi. It's just, I don't know, because obviously we didn't get a bunch of lore of this world.
Continuity, yeah.
But is it a world where anyone can just be a Jedi if they want to be? It felt like that at one point. They were literally handing out.
You get a lightsaber. You get a lightsaber.
Lightsabers were basically being handed out like candy at one point. So
look under your chairs, ladies and gentlemen.
So I will say it felt like anyone could become a Jedi. Which, I mean, you could argue that in the main continuity of Star Wars, that is one of the issues of the Jedi, was the way they handled recruitment, and maybe being allowed to have emotion and being attached to things can be a good thing.
Yeah.
It could be a source of your power.
Yes.
Which is maybe one of the downfalls. I don't know. I'm sure, depending on which version of Luke you want to take, you'd probably agree or disagree.
Yeah. Depending.
Music, I know that we might have a slight disagreement here, which is I thought generally the music was really solid. I thought it kind of had that real classical Star Wars feel to it with the whole orchestra and kind of like the Star Wars vibe without playing just Star Wars music, which is nice because we're in a different continuity. We're in a different timeline altogether. So I almost feel like it's kind of fitting that it's very reminiscent of Star Wars without being classical Star Wars music.
Okay.
But also, I feel like it's nice to just have original music. You don't need to have Star Wars music, or nothing new's ever going to come in Star Wars. I thought generally the orchestrated music was very solid.
I think that I agree. First off, I agree that the orchestra music was good. I think for me, it was just missing a little bit of like Star Wars motifs. Still have that more like intense Star Wars feel.
It's better than Mando.
It was, which is embarrassing. I agree. It's better than Mando for sure, both the show and the music. But I think, for me, I want just like that little bit extra like oomph of. I will say,
I guess there were never real moments for like the big drops that maybe you're used to.
I think that's what I was hoping for. I think there is the fight between Kara and Nawam where it feels like a little bit Duel of the Fatesy, which was good.
Yeah, like inspired by.
Yeah. But I think the music in the orchestra still was still immersive in the world. Like, you still got that feel. But I think for me, I just wanted a little bit more of that classic Star Wars John Williams score.
Well, you didn't get it.
I didn't get it, but that's okay.
What were some of let's go into the pros and cons.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Do you want to start pros or do you want to start cons?
Let's go with cons, because this is like crazy for me.
All right.
Now this is extremely nitpicky from a big Star Wars fan.
You want to start with the big
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because I'll get this out of the way.
Yeah, okay. Start with your nitpick.
Because this is like, if you know so much Star Wars lore, you've read the books, you've watched the movies, like you've watched the anime stuff, you know a lot of the Star Wars lore. This is where this stuff becomes nitpicky. But if you're a common watcher, we're like, I'm just going to watch some Star Wars anime. Then it doesn't matter. But this kid, okay, Kara, barely a Jedi, okay? Like,
okay, yeah.
Okay.
Is this a nitpick, though?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
To be able to see a Force ghost after someone has died, Obi-Wan Kenobi trained for years upon years to finally see Qui-Gon Jinn once.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
She can barely handle whether she's on the good side or the dark side of the Force.
Maybe her master's just that powerful.
No. So that's my one big... I have a couple nitpicks, but that's like my first big one, is that she was just like, yeah, boom, I can see a Force ghost after he like died. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan could barely do it for years upon years.
Maybe Obi-Wan did it wrong.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that was the issue here. One of the greatest Jedi to ever live did it wrong, right?
But they did it wrong in the show, making it seem so hard. Maybe it's very easy. He just had to calm his mind.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Funny enough, I have, within that, not as nitpicky, is just she grew at an exponential rate.
Yes.
From not being a Jedi, I could understand her being decent with a blade, considering her dad is essentially a bladesmith. Like, in that way, you could almost be like, okay, sure. But she grew so fast over the course of that first episode, from the first Visions to now.
Yeah.
Where
we missed a bunch.
She basically becomes like an elite, like almost the best Jedi Knight of this group that we've seen.
Yep.
Where we have ones that have been training for a while.
Yeah.
So it, like, there's being a natural, and then there's just
an elitist.
Not even just being like the best.
Yeah. No, she was way too overpowered in ways. My other big nitpick is lightsabers don't work that way.
That we know of.
You agreed.
This is also not a nitpick. I think that this is just a fair negative of there was just no explanation as to how kyber crystals work in this continuity.
Exactly. I mean, we're seeing a giant kyber crystal cannon, so I can push that aside. But I think
I could also see the idea of using kyber crystals to power a weapon. Sure, I can see that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, it does.
But you can't just you can't switch a red to a green when it comes to the lightsabers. Like, the whole point of the red lightsaber is because it's like you bleed it, whatever, right? And then you can purify it
in Disney lore
and in Legends.
Because we saw it in what was it? The Acolyte.
Yeah.
Which people did not love.
I thought that scene was great, actually. I love the good.
But I know a lot of the Star Wars purists really disliked that.
Correct. But you can't just have a red lightsaber and then just casually unpure it.
Yeah, that was weird.
So
it felt more like a lightsaber in this context was literally however you're feeling at the time.
It was a freaking push pop. That's all it was. Like the little candy.
It was a mood ring.
It was a mood ring. Yeah, it was a mood stick. It was just
we saw blue, green, reds, silvers, back to greens, blues, and the other weird thing was who you could argue is the best, which is Kara's dad at being a Jedi Knight at this point. He sees a guy turn on a blue lightsaber, and he's like, "I've seen all I need to see. You're a good guy." And I'm just sitting there like, he doesn't know if that lightsaber's been used by, because let's give the benefit of the doubt and be like, it was a normal crystal.
Sure.
He doesn't know if someone else has imbued it already and it becomes a blue one. He doesn't know, but apparently in this world it's just
General Grievous alone.
It's a mood ring. It just goes to who you are. So he can't just tell, I guess.
What in the White Lantern ring crap is this though? It just doesn't make sense to me, because the whole point of the lightsaber, unless she's switching out batteries to switch the color
she's
out,
putting new crystals in, bled another one.
Oh, whoopsie daisy. Let me put a green one in this time.
I've been naughty.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, you can make the argument, sure, because you can purify a red one to make a white lightsaber.
Sure.
But then you introduce basically a brand new lightsaber altogether, which is the silver one.
Yeah,
which
so the
we've
silver
seen
is new, or has it been seen before?
like 4 times, maybe. We're talking like
Like deep book lore?
like a 2006 comic book, and then for the Imperial Knight like lightsabers, which were like some B-list, C-list characters for a bit,
I
but
thought
only
they-
in Legends. Then in
Okay.
Force Unleashed 2, there was a GameStop exclusive character you could get that had a silver lightsaber.
Okay.
Like, we're talking like bottom of the barrel, like random lightsaber. Like, I think there's one other character in Legends that had it, but then he's in the canon, so they obviously redid that entire origin.
And did it represent anything or no?
No, not really.
It was just a
I can double check.
it was just a
but
unique saber color.
Yeah.
Because there's the gold sabers that the temple have, right? Like the temple guards
Yeah.
have a gold.
Here
or
we go.
yellow
We're going to
lightsaber.
the Padawan Outpost website. Okay, we got blue lightsaber. It's most iconic. We got green lightsaber, usually associated with harmony and wisdom. Red is the light. Purple, yellow, orange, white, the black, which is the dark saber.
Yep.
It's not even on this list. That's how
Yeah,
obscure
it's
it is.
different,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree with like the mood ring-esque lightsaber is a bit weird, and it would be less weird if we got a lot more explanation of like sabers. Like if we had a scene with, even in the first episode before her dad gets taken, like of him making a saber and like having a discussion about how the kyber crystal reacts to a person on
Exactly.
an individual to individual basis. Some form of lore built up of a red sabers represent, yes, it's known for being a Sith, but that's because this is how they are feeling, or like this is they have darkness in their heart, and
Yeah.
that's why the
Show me the emotional spectrum of a lightsaber, basically.
yeah, and why they turn each way. Like what
Exactly.
did silver? It felt like it represented.
Someone who's able to control their emotion.
I took it as almost even less so emotionless. Like felt nothing, was just kind of like one with the force.
Yeah, like they've become a Vulcan of the Force, where they're like,
In a
I
way, yeah.
have no emotion,
That's
but
exactly
I can
it.
still have a lightsaber. But you're like, that's okay. Obviously, some of the negatives we already talked about that are less nitpicky. CGI wasn't the best. The English dub of the main girl was okay.
Crazy planet destroying laser, not exactly
Classic.
the most original.
And then yeah, this is kind of a nitpick too of just casually rebuilding the Jedi Council at the end.
I didn't dislike
but-
that. I kind of liked the idea of
I think it'd be cooler in my opinion, if they just kind of like opened a school, maybe. I think it's just
that's
kind of
basically what it is, though.
Yeah.
If we're
guess.
honest, that is basically what the Jedi Temple is.
Yeah. You're right.
Because you take in young kids and you're teaching them more than just how to be a Jedi. You're teaching them to be a good person,
Yeah.
etc. Like it basically
Makes
is a
sense.
school. I also have Beto, the bounty hunter guy. Thought that him just being like, "Yeah, you beat me. You're right. I'll just join you." I was kind of like,
Oh, you're my master now. Okay.
that was very.
Sounds great.
He didn't provide much either after he became her subordinate. Yeah. If he added something, maybe I've been okay, cool. It just felt unnecessary. I didn't like that. I didn't like just the Sunder. I would have much preferred you just take the L and maybe
Dipped.
dipped and or was like
Help them out at the
or
end.
like finish
or
me like
something.
I'm not gonna change
Yeah.
sides. But I don't know. I didn't enjoy that.
Any other negatives?
No, I basically covered all of them. Like I have the lightsaber colors. What if someone else used the saber first? That was the big one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Felt like Kara grew at an exponential rate. Had multiple lightsaber changing colors. Those are pretty much all of my negatives too.
Fair enough.
As for positives, animation,
Yep.
solid. Great fight choreography as
Yeah,
well. All the
lightsabers
fights-
looked great.
all the lightsaber combat was fantastic. I also had down, you could tell it wasn't just your regular Western studio. There was a bit of both with speech patterns, if you're used to watching English dub coming from a Japanese, or if you even watched it in sub, it had a lot of Japanese influence. Obviously,
Yeah.
the names are reversed
Yep.
for starters, but also felt like there was some Japanese humor in there that I'm used to seeing in anime and not
Western
used to seeing
culture.
in Western culture.
Yeah.
Which was cool to see. This is something I really liked, was the use of classic metal swords to almost show off one's ability in combat.
Yeah.
They kind of used it as a, can you hold your own? Is that you kind of idea? And where there aren't a lot of lightsabers at the time in the show. So I thought that was kind of a cool, because we're in a futuristic world where there's laser guns and laser swords, but there's just something really cool about breaking out two swords.
Swords are like, I think there's one scene where she fights a guy with like two little daggers. And
Yeah.
he's like holding his own for a little bit.
So I don't know. I thought it looked cool. And lightsaber stab actually killed someone in Disney Star Wars.
Crazy concept.
We saw it. And he instantly turned into a Force ghost.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down Kara's red saber was unexpected.
Yeah.
Her silver one was a bit more expected. But
the end of episode 5, when they get scared because she has a red lightsaber, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was good.
But then she like freaks out and just drops it and dips. But, what else?
Not very Jedi. Like,
No.
keep track of that thing.
Yeah, idiot.
Just because you have a bag full of
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I had another point I was gonna make that I was like, oh, it was good that they did that. But lightsabers overall animated well, all different character designs. The switch from green to the red lightsaber seems epic. Specifically, the fights between Kara and Nawam fight was sick. I did find it interesting for her to have like the strength to be able to like turn the lightsaber off and turn it back on in like a split second. I thought was like, okay.
I don't even know if the way I interpreted wasn't even her turning it off, but the Force almost like
stopping her from
the beam.
Yeah, exactly.
Like breaking the beam up. Like the saber actually never turned off on. It was more like
bent.
Yeah, almost like
some bullet bending wanted.
A lightsaber's technically light.
Yeah.
Right? So it just took away that light and brought it back.
I think another one particular scene that stood out to me too is during the fight of Kara and versus Naomi at the end, and it jumps back to the guys trying to break down the kyber crystal cannon, and he's using like the back of the lightsaber, and the animation switches to like that black, like the hard black lines, like the hand drawn stuff for like that epic moment of the final hit.
Yep.
It just, every time I see that in anime, it just gives you like an extra like, whew, like this is it. This is the final hit. So it's always good. Like similar, like you said, as like there was a lot of like hints and nuances to.
If you're used to watching animes, you can see like, oh, this is an like Japanese studio.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Exactly.
Which was cool to see in Star Wars.
100%. Enjoyment, final thoughts, recommendation, rating?
Rating, I would say probably like a 7.5 to maybe an 8, leaning towards there, like 7.6, like growing. It's kind of where I'm feeling. Generally, though, like the enjoyment was great. I had a great time watching it. I'm hopeful that it does well enough that we'll see more of the stories kind of get their own
I hope
8
so.
episodes.
Like Last Ronin, give me more of that.
And I am also kind of like fingers crossed that it's more of the Japanese studio ones, because those are just the ones I ended up enjoying more typically. It was definitely a fun ride, so no complaints there. One note I will make is One Piece is kind of like Star Wars. It's kind of like Sea Wars. Because as like they keep going to these planets, I'm just like, man, gives me real One Piece vibes, because in Star Wars, like they go to a planet and you have no idea what it's
Zero idea.
You're like, this could be a planet with gods, or it could be a planet with platypus duck people who can't even aren't super intelligent.
Yeah.
Or it could just be humans, and it's just so One Piece like, where you're like, you don't know what is going to be on that island.
And you
don't
have
even know what weather's going to be on that island.
To take it a step further, you have people that run like certain areas. I'm thinking of like the Hutts, which own certain planets, similar to like how Big Mom
Are they part of the world government? Maybe not. Maybe they're part of something else. Their own government. Maybe they're run by someone like the Hutts, or like a Doflamingo, like a warlord.
Yeah. And we had a time skip.
And there's a time skip, yep. But I know that Oda is a Star Wars fan. I think in a bunch of interviews he said, I think there's a interview where you go into his place and he's got like massive Star Wars statues. And
there is like some like weird Star Wars One Piece promo video they did.
Oh, did they do one?
I think for Force Awakens.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. It actually popped up in my anime list. I was looking for something the other day, and I was like, I have no idea what this is.
And I haven't read or listened to every Oda interview ever, but I'm very curious if Star Wars has played a lot in why he has such a vast world,
Oh, it's got to.
right? If there's a lot of inspiration there, because just as they kept going planets, I was like, wow, this is giving real One Piece vibes. And I was like, how much of One Piece is like was he inspired when he was creating like all these islands?
Means one of Luffy's mentors gonna have to die then, to really finish that heroic journey.
It could happen. But how about you, Matt?
Similar to you, I put 7.5 out of 10. I just kind of leaning
It
to
wasn't
the
bad. It wasn't bad. It definitely was not bad.
No, I think if you like Star Wars and you like anime and you want a fun side story, then you just gotta enjoy the ride.
That's true.
I will recommend checking out the 2 episodes that are from the Vision anthology show just to kind of give you a bit more context. Not that you need to, but it would definitely answer a lot more questions.
Doesn't hurt.
Really, and then that ups at the anime to 10 episodes to watch, which is still shorter than most anime shows.
That's true.
So,
but if you count the fact that it's on average 25 minutes,
true. It does kind of even out actually.
Starts catching up there. It might be exactly kind of 12
eps.
normal eps.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely check it out. I think it was a fun ride. Solid fights, and if you're a Star Wars fan, just give it a watch, because why not?
Give it a watch. Have you, speaking of Star Wars, have you checked out the Vader Episode 2 by, by Star Wars Theory?
No.
I know that he was working, I think that fan film that he worked on finally came out.
Oh, yes. I did hear about that it was coming out. I didn't know it came out yet, though.
So maybe we'll check that out at some point and we'll throw it in a different app. But we'll move on to our nerdy news, which hasn't happened in a while.
Yes, we have a ton to talk about. I have it split right here because there's a lot of San Diego Comic-Con news.
Yes, I was away, so this is all on Matt. All
Yep.
the stuff that he was paying attention to, stuff that inspired him.
And also good to know that the recording of this episode, D23, is happening. So there will be a lot more news on an upcoming episode talking about probably a bunch of new Marvel stuff, some new Star Wars stuff. So stay tuned for that.
The direction of
The
Disney
MCU.
Plus, too.
Disney Plus as
what
well.
they're planning on doing, yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. But from San Diego Comic-Con, mostly Star Wars news. Mostly Marvel
I was
news.
going to say, what?
Probably the 2 biggest things is, 1, Ryan Coogler is coming back for Black Panther 3, and they casted David Johnson to play T'Challa's son, T'Challa Jr., the future King of Wakanda, and then Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that one felt like it was bound to happen.
Yeah.
Well, because there's interviews of him like 2 or 3 years ago saying, I would love to play Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Which feels so random.
It really does.
But also, have you seen some comic panels of what Ghost Rider looks like recently?
Oh, yeah. He's got the blonde hair. It will look good. My only concern for it is the director, Sean Levy, I believe, who did the Deadpool trilogy. So I'm worried that the Ghost Rider film is going to be a little too comedic.
That's just Marvel, though.
I know it is. But then I'm hoping that it's not as serious. Sorry, it's less comedic. I want it to be more serious.
I doubt it. It's just
Nicolas Cage, man, just really ups it.
It's part of the Marvel problem.
It is.
It's part of the Marvel problem. And not everything has to be as funny.
Yeah. We got a full trailer for the Lantern show, showing Sinestro in it,
which is actually coming out this weekend as of recording.
So a few days before this episode comes out, the first episode comes out, you can go check out the first 5 minutes on YouTube right now.
And that's on HBO.
HBO or Crave in Canada.
Which has, the HBO. So.
But yeah, we see Sinestro. We see Manhunters, which seem to be the big villain of the show, which for those who don't know in the comics, the Guardians of Oa created the Manhunters. They failed, so then they created their second army, which is the Green Lanterns, to help bring in protection to the world. Other big quick news is Simon Pegg is to voice Belron in Rings of Power Season 3, which is super random. We're getting a Blade Runner 2099 show. The trailer came out for that. X-Men 97 Season 3 and Season 4 are in the works.
I heard Season 2 ended off very... Yeah, okay, so...
Insane.
I saw a lot of people that were like, that was amazing, I need Season 3. That's all I saw on social media for the end.
Pretty crazy, I'll be honest. We have a trailer for Avatar 7 Havens, which is the new Avatar Last Airbender sequel, including Pavi, who is the new Avatar.
Nice.
Which is the Earth Kingdom this time around. We're getting an Indiana Jones comic book series. God of War Luthei video game is coming out February 16th, 2027. Percy Jackson Season 3 starts November 20th. And at Comic-Con, we also got a trailer for the Scrooge movie Ebenezer. And they had a whole expo for it. And Johnny Depp showed up, who is playing as Ebenezer.
Very cool.
And it's kind of cool because this is his first big appearance in a couple years due to the court situation he had with his ex-wife situation. I'm very excited for this movie, mostly just to see Johnny Depp on the big screen again. And it's like a horror style film, which is going to be interesting. More like suspense.
Yep.
Then that's the end of San Diego Comic-Con news. Now we get to a bunch of other stuff.
Well, you missed one thing that happened at San Diego Comic-Con, which was Ryan Reynolds showed up in a Deadpool costume and asked why Thor was crying.
Exactly. And what color was he wearing? Jean Grey. Deadpool. Clever. It was pretty clever. You got to admit. Yeah. If you look, he's posted a picture after of the shade of gray he was wearing. It was Jean Grey. I'm like, that's so clever.
Funny guy, that guy.
Speaking of X-Men 97, Season 2 is all out. You can go catch it up on Disney+. And X-Men news, Kit Connor casted as Cyclops for the future X-Men movie. Sonara Weaving as Emma Frost. And the movie is to be directed by Jake Schreiser, who is the Thunderbolts director.
I saw that the initial person who was supposed to play Beast dropped out of playing Beast.
Which is kind of concerning because I think they were supposed to do a full cast announcement at D23.
Akko Taco.
Yes. There is a Naruto live action that's in pre-production, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who did Spider-Man Brand New Day. I have no comment on that. In DC World, the Paradise Lost and Waller shows are both canceled. The Penguin Season 2 is on hold. But don't worry, because the Jimmy Olsen show has started filming, and the Wonder Woman movie is beginning to get fast-tracked to be made faster.
Which is interesting, because the main thing I've been seeing a lot for all this DC stuff is the merger between Warner Brothers and Paramount is what's causing a lot of, this is why we got Superman, Supergirl, and we're not really seeing a lot of who you'd expect, kind of the big ones, why we're getting Clay. Because we don't know if James Gunn's even going to be continuing to lead the DC universe.
Yeah.
Because maybe Paramount doesn't want him. We don't know. Obviously, Warner Brothers doesn't want to spend a metric ton of money on a film that's not going to be their film.
Yeah.
And then Paramount's not probably going to want them both ways, right? They want to approve whatever they want to do. So a lot of complications, I think, is being caused by this merger. But the Wonder Woman news I didn't see until you put it down, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think they're trying to...
I wonder if that is in response to how bad Supergirl did.
I think so.
And a lot of it being... I don't generally, from what I've seen, not a lot of hype for Clayface. There's definitely a niche there that's kind of excited for something different and horror elements of it. But I think the larger audience is kind of like, where's just the big guys?
Yeah, just give me my big three. Give me my Justice League members.
Yeah, like, are we building towards... It doesn't feel like we're building towards anything. And I think this is in a response to, we need to get one of them out there.
Yeah, and I think it's tough because also... Obviously, I don't really like comparing Marvel to DC, but obviously Marvel has the whole MCU. But then you look at outside of that, you have films like Morbius, Kraven, Venom trilogy. Some of the Venom movies are okay. But those movies that are supposed to be more like horror, spookiness.
But then who's carrying in the comics?
That's what I mean. It's tough, right? You got
DC's doing so well with comics right now.
But Marvel is catching up. Because now they're coming with their
new universe for DC.
Absolute. Scott Snyder is killing it right now.
It's just blown up for DC right now.
I mean, that's something I should probably add. We're getting a Cassandra Cain Absolute series coming out. Absolute Catwoman, I believe, is started now. Absolute Green Arrow got extended to 12 issues.
And we mentioned before that Absolute Batman's getting an animated series.
Which is gonna be crazy. And then in the manga department, Quit Laughing Shijima came out, which is a one-shot.
That's the horror manga one-shot?
Yeah.
By My Hero Academia author?
Yeah. And then news that came out that I'm super excited for is that we're getting a Promised Neverland sequel one-shot on August 24th.
Interesting.
Which I saw a picture for that, and I was like, oh, that can't be real news. But then I actually Googled it a little bit, and yeah, it looks like because of the 10-year anniversary, we're getting a fancy one-shot to kind of...
A lot of 10-year anniversaries of stuff. Yeah. Because we're going to be seeing Your Name soon for its 10th anniversary.
4K remastered. I am very excited to see that on the big screen.
which will be your first time seeing it on big screen, I think.
Yeah, and I'm seeing it twice.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of news we've missed. As Matt mentioned, we're coming into a big weekend of more nerdy news, so stay tuned for next week's episode, which I'm
2
sure...
weeks.
Oh yeah, Anime of the Month is
Yep.
next week. So 2 weeks from now, where we'll have more news. Speaking of which, Anime of the Month, if you are new here or are following along with the Anime of the Month, we are watching Doro Hedoro.
Season 1.
Season 1. And we'll be next week, yeah. The ep will come out, so
Super pumped to talk about it.
watch ahead of time. Join in the conversation. Let us know if you liked or disliked it. We do have a Discord. The link tree's in the description, which has our Discord and other socials where you should follow us. Also follow us here. Click the like button, et cetera, all that good stuff. And yeah, and we'll also be discussing what we'll be watching in September, which it is a classic.
A classic.
A classic, which Matt has not seen, nor Troy,
I'm so scared to watch it.
who also joins us for the Anime of the Month. So we'll see how that goes. So you have to tune in next week to figure out what that is. Shall we jump into our Misfit Roundtable?
Yes, Mr. Roundtable D&D campaign updates. For those who don't know, Connor is the DM of one of the campaigns that I'm currently in his homebrew world of Erosia. And this is going to be the recap of session 12 and session 13. Stay tuned on our YouTube. We'll be doing like a compilation video soon of kind of just a couple sessions at once if you want to particularly just keep an eye out for that if you're really interested in the world that Connor's created and me and 5 other people are participating in.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into session 12 and 13, which is Day returns to the table after some time away and kind of explains where he's been as we see him having the deed to the family farm in his hands. And as he/his family wants to sell it because of the Gravelum underneath the farm. We try to reason with Day, but he's still under the influence of that good old emerald nectar. And we try to reason with Day and his family if to not sell the farm. And we try to convince him to stop with the nectar. And we try to hide it from him. My character tries to pretend to drink some, but Day was like, WTF. And Sami got really upset and saw right through it. Then we were all interrupted by a group of showing up to try and take the farm. A large fight broke out with a half-elf, a mechanical dragon, and some guards of the half-elf, which his name is Frilzarin.
Yep.
After we refused to get out of the way. And then that battle continued into session 13, and the battle continues until the group is able to take the whole group down minus the dragon. Dragon kind of like falls apart because of, stops working, I should say. After we take down.
It was a dragon puppet. So once the puppeteer, if you will, was no longer with everyone else that is on the living side of things.
Yes.
It's gone.
And after a few downs of Day and me particularly, we were able to take down Frilzarin, which caused the puppet to shut down. Suddenly, some of the chickens of the farm, aka raptors, show up.
Well, there are regular chickens too.
Yeah, but mostly the raptors. Sheila, which is one of Day's favorite raptors, shows up, which causes Day to kind of briefly remember who they are a little bit outside of the Emerald Nectar. And then family members of Day just show up one by one and talk with Day in the group and ask questions of who we are and what we want. And Day is kind of off the nectar basically now, so we can assume. Meanwhile, Kaith is there, but he's kind of just killing guards and looting them without asking questions, which some of the party is not necessarily the happiest about. And we kind of end the session as the group waits for more help to kind of protect the farm before we continue to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, generally, I think you pretty much covered most of it.
I want to be more narrative and crazy with my storytelling.
Well, no, I think you did a good job of summarizing the main events. Yeah, both sessions were very heavily combat-based. I would say session 12, we only play for
2-ish hours, I'd say.
2 hours. Sometimes we go over. Sometimes I push the limits until someone's like, I need to go. And I'm like, fine, I'll end it.
Someone's tired.
It's very tough to get places in 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because sometimes you can just, and I'm never going to stop the table from just having fun shooting the shit as characters. Like if they want to RP and have a moment out for dinner or whatever, and they're just going at it, I'm not going to stop them. But sometimes that takes an hour.
It does.
And that's half the time we have.
Yeah.
So we did have I would say probably a good 45 minutes to an hour in 12, where there's a lot of back and forth between Day and the party as far as trying to stop him from destroying his family's farm.
Yep.
Because generally the narrative at the moment that everyone is aware of is that Vesbrax, a supposed emerald dragon who's actually a green dragon. Green dragons are evil, at least in this world and most of D&D. Has actually used a powerful drug to gain influence over people and kind of create her own little hive mind. And to make this drug, Gravelum is one of the main resources needed for it. And it turns out that the Day family farm happens to be on a mass amount of it. So they want to get this farm. And Day, currently under the control of the Emerald Nectar, is kind of like, this is what Vesbrax wants. This is what I'm going to do. And Day's parents end up yielding mostly because they just want to help their son. And at this point in time, they've already been attacked, approached multiple times, and they just are trying, almost
kind of over it now,
doing it for their own safety in a way.
Yeah.
But no, we've got the foolish people,
Foolish folk.
and they take a stand to defend their friend's farm, even from himself. And we have a good fight that breaks out. It was fun to kind of come up with the dragon puppet was a little bit maybe too strong, some could argue, but I made it really strong and obvious that it was a puppet in hopes that everyone would catch on that you don't need to fight the puppet like the dragon puppet. You could fight the guy controlling it.
Yeah.
Which did eventually kind of happen. Guys did take it. It just had a couple sus moments of, oh dear. Matt, you did go down a couple times. One where I even rolled, because in our campaign, I'm rolling the death saves behind the screen.
Yep.
So no one actually knows how close to death someone might be. And I did roll a death for you. You were one of, you were getting there.
I was pretty close.
But you did get back up. And then, we did have the Raptor show up. I talked to Eric, who plays Day, ahead of time, because multiple times he's brought up Sheila during his fun rants that Day goes on through the campaign. And he's brought up Sheila and how Sheila's his favorite, but she was a bit of a bigger chicken and blah, 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 blah. And I was like to him, would you be all right? Because we all read Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah.
And I was like, would you be all right if Sheila's a raptor? And he's like, that's hilarious. So that's kind of how it birthed, where I was like, I'm going to have a raptor pit and have Day like just think that raptors are just chickens. Just a bigger chicken.
Which is great.
Because it's so hard to portray in this, but he plays like the character with a southern accent, and he's both like there, but like not there intellectual wise. So it's just so fitting for him to be like, yeah, it's just a chicken.
What do you mean
on
it's
the
just
farm
a chicken?
And everyone else is like, bruh.
That's a friggin' raptor.
That is not a chicken. So super fun for that reveal as well for everyone. And then it was super fun to play all of his siblings. I had like the list of siblings that he gave me. And really all he gave me was a very general, this is kind of like somewhat their personality and if they're older or younger than him. And then I'm the one who came up with like what scale color they were. And that was pretty enjoyable. My favorite was to play, there were two younger siblings. One that looks up to Fora, which is Day, who we reference as Day. Day is his last name. Who really looks up to him. That one was fun to play because he's like, oh, he's in the right. We should have sold the farm. And then the younger sister who's just like the annoying, like asks way too many questions one. That was super fun to play. But currently working on the next session.
Yes.
Hasn't happened yet. It's actually, I would say I'm a little bit stumped in a way where I don't want to railroad anything, but we're also at kind of a point where there's a lot of options.
Yeah.
So I have to do a lot more preparation in terms of potential places, whether they're like locations that are nearby, potential plans that already know of.
Yeah, if we're going up, down, left, right situation.
So it is a little bit more stressful.
Yep.
And we'll see what ends up happening. It might be I think there's a good possibility this session ends up being a little shorter, where I get an idea of what we're doing. We kind of work towards that. Maybe we have some stuff go on, and then the next session I'll have a better idea of what
that makes sense
direction we're going.
Yeah.
another fun thing that we did for 12 and 13 is there was a level up, and we finally fixed your character.
Yes, we finally fixed my character after there was some hiccups where my character was like half 2014, half 2024 rules.
Yeah, there was
Don't fully understand how that happened, but it's fixed now.
A lot more spells available.
A lot different stats now. I'm a little bit stronger, so hopefully I won't go down as much. But
I think you'll still go down.
That's all in the dice.
But a lot more options in combat, because generally it felt like you almost could do nothing.
Literally, I felt like I was just giving bardic inspirations and then trying to throw a dagger, and that's all I could do.
But now you have a few more spells that are a little bit more, not necessarily, well, one, you have damaging spells.
Yes.
But you also have, your more classic support spells that can be used in combat situations. So that's great. We finally work towards
small victories. We love it to see it.
And then we'll see how you feel as we move on, because we have potentially discussed the possibility of you multi-classing.
Yes.
But maybe you'll have a much more enjoyable experience with the Bard, and you'll continue with the Bard. Who knows?
Who's to say?
But yeah, I think that's it. We've covered our nerdy news. We've covered the round table, and of course, we covered the Ninth Jedi, which you should tell people to watch. If they're not into animation, it's worth checking out. Just like out Clone Wars. I still think it's worth checking out if you like Star Wars. So
100%.
But yeah, I think we'll sign off for today. We'll see you next week for Anime
of the Month. And stay tuned for what we have store in September. And we'll see you then.
Goodbye.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you. And see you next week.